start the recording. There we go. And hopefully my computer doesn't seize up on us. So the idea behind Nebula is to create basically a single pane of glass that makes it easy for you to easily configure your customer networks, keep an eye on your customer networks, configure your security switches and access points all through the same pane of glass, and minimize the amount of effort that it takes to do the initial setup and installation. If you've used Meraki or heard about Meraki, it's a very similar setup to how Meraki does things, only much more affordable, as Nebula itself is free. There are no mandatory licenses. There's no getting locked out of your equipment, and they're much, much more affordable. And we'll go through this a little bit more here for you. So take a look here at this. All these different puzzle pieces are the types of things that go on your network when you're setting up a brand new network. So everything there that's gray is an area where Nebula saves you time, or saves you money, or saves you both. So for instance, when it comes to installing equipment, we make the installation go much quicker. In general, most Nebula devices will require no manual configuration. You simply need to plug them in so they have power and an internet connection. So you don't need to send somebody on site who's a network engineer or expert. You just need to send someone out there that knows how to plug things in. And in some cases, if you're swapping out equipment, you can just send it to your end users and have them do the swap themselves. When it comes to monitoring stuff, there's no need to worry about monitoring protocols and things like that. The cloud handles your monitoring for you. Access to the equipment, there's no need to set up VPNs, use cloud keys, other VPN devices, port forwards, things like that. Nebula products will automatically break through the typical business firewall router, reach out to the cloud, so you have remote access to them anywhere you have access to a web browser. You don't need a monitoring platform. The cloud is your monitoring platform. We've got a number of different types of reports and views that you can see. Now, if you do have something you already like, maybe you're already invested into SolarWinds or you really like Zabbix, you can continue to use those. Nebula products can still be managed using traditional SNMP and syslog. Data storage, your logs are automatically stored in the cloud for you, so you don't need to worry about setting up something to do offsite or local storage of your logs. When it comes to pushing out configuration changes, firmware updates, things like that, it's all, again, handled by the cloud, much of it automatically for you. So in most of those cases, you're saving some time and you're saving some money. Going through here, start talking about some of the individual features here. So as I mentioned before, setup is really easy. You don't even need to take the products out of the box. Nebula products all have a QR code, both on the box, outer box, and on the device itself. To set up a device, all you need to do generally is scan that QR code using a mobile app and assign it to your customer and their particular network. So if you've got a customer with multiple sites, you tell it, hey, go to this customer, this site, and that's pretty much all you need to do. So if you're one of those guys that you have stock delivered to you first before going to the customer, you're going to have it shipped to you. You don't have to take it out of the box. Just scan it, assign it to the customer, and ship it to them, and it's ready to go. Once you plug it in, it will automatically reach out to the internet, update the firmware, and download the configuration based on who you've assigned it to. So there's no additional hardware. Again, there's no cloud keys, there's no wireless LAN controllers, there's no special software that needs to be installed, whether it's on a local machine or on a virtual machine in your data center. It's good to go. Nothing else you need. And once you've done it, all of your equipment, regardless of whose network they're on, which of your customers they belong to, you can access them anywhere where you've got a web browser or you've got an Android or iOS mobile device. So the mobile app is primarily designed as a tool to help you when it comes to installation. So as we already mentioned, you can scan in those QR codes to assign the devices to a customer so they know which configuration to download and who they belong to. You can also use it to keep an eye on your networks. If you're using our Pro Pack, you get alerts and push notifications when devices go offline. There's some basic wireless configuration you can do there, and we're continuing to roll out new features to the mobile app. So it'll get more and more powerful. Another kind of cool thing you can do is as you install the hardware, you can snap a photo of that hardware in the app, and that'll be stored in the cloud. So when you have to go back on site or send somebody else on site months or years later, they can pull it up in the app and see a photo of which device it was and where it was installed to help make it that much easier to find it. Guest access is built in, whether we're talking about providing guests to visiting a business park who want to get online, whether we're talking about hotels, coffee shops, public places, things like that. We've got them all. The access points themselves have all the captive portal functionality they need directly built into them. But if you want to provide captive portal functionality on other devices or hardwired devices, our NSG security gateways also have captive portal functionality built in. And we've got a ton of flexibility in how you do this. So we've got a default page that you can use. We've got some basic customization you can easily do through the web browser, adding your logo, changing some text. But if you need some more detailed customization than that, we let you download the HTML and CSS files for all those captive portal pages so you can customize to your heart's content that way. We also give you code that you can load onto your own website if you'd rather redirect people there. We have the ability to give users access through a number of different ways: Facebook login, Facebook Wi-Fi, agree to a terms of service, let users register their own username and password before they can get online. We've got a special mode for a receptionist that allows a receptionist to log in and create accounts for people. So no matter how you want to do guest access at a network, we have the flexibility to do that with Nebula. So we've got Wi-Fi there. So we've got everything you expect to find on Wi-Fi, you know, WPA2 security and soon WPA3 security. We support 802.11r and K to do fast roaming, and we support Smart Mesh. So with Smart Mesh, it's really simple. If an access point doesn't have a working Ethernet connection, it'll automatically put itself in mesh mode. It will find other nearby Zycel access points that do have a wired connection and automatically create a mesh. So those devices that either are not plugged into Ethernet or something has happened to sever their connection will be able to maintain providing service to any wireless clients connected to them. It's done seamlessly, no configuration required. So when it comes to our switches, we've got intelligent PoE where we monitor PoE devices, see what their peak PoE draw is, and then only reserve the power that's required for those devices. We've got a number of different network protection functionality such as ACL rules, VLAN configuration, 802.1x authentication, LoopGuard, DHCP server guard, et cetera, and all of our switches virtually stack. So you can go in and configure ports across multiple switches simultaneously. Easy in configuration there for you. So updates are provided over the air. You update the changes you want to make in Nebula itself. And then within about normally 2 minutes, but at most 5 minutes, your devices on the local network will reach out to the cloud, see the changes, and automatically download those changes. Firmware updates can be scheduled based on the type of device. So you can go in there and you can say, hey, I want to update my firmware now, or you can say, hey, I want to update my firmware, you know, Friday nights at 3 a.m., or, you know, different schedules for different types of equipment. So a lot of flexibility there to automatically push out those firmware updates. In addition, a lot of the changes and features are actually cloud hosted entirely, so no firmware updates are required. We automatically push out those changes to the cloud interface. When it comes to our NSG security gateways, we make it really easy to do site-to-site VPN. All you need to do is select the sites that you want to be connected together, say whether you want a star topology or hub and spoke topology, and hit apply, and we handle everything else required to get those VPN connections up and running. So Nebula was designed from the ground up to make it easy for you to manage all of your customers and all of their networks. So we'll go through here in a second here and show you how the interface looks and how that works out for you. So you see here when you log in, this is what we call our Msp View. It gives you a snapshot of all of your customers. You name them how you want, so you'll see the customer's name there. You'll see whether they're using the paid version of Nebula or the free version of Nebula. You'll see general health information, how many devices of different types are online versus having issues, et cetera, et cetera. So you go in, choose your customer you want to manage, and then you will be taken here, maybe, there we go. You'll be taken here to a list of all of the networks that that customer has. So if they have just one network, you'll see that network there. If they've got multiple sites with multiple networks, you'll see them all there. And again, you get a brief snapshot of what's going on with them. We have Google Maps integration, so you can have the individual sites show up on a physical map there to see where they are, make it easier to select based on visuals. And then once you click down to an individual site that you want to manage, you get taken to our Nebula Dashboard. New and improved within the last couple of weeks here. Available in both a light and dark. And my text is white on a white background. That's not good. But just showing you there up at the top of the screen, you can go there, you can group your organizations together into different types of groups. You can, using the drop-down, you can choose individual customers, and then you can easily switch between sites. It makes it really easy to jump from one customer to the next. The widgets there on the screen, a lot of that can be customized as to what information is there, but it gives you a snapshot of everything up. You know, how many wireless devices are connected, your PoE usage versus the PoE power budget, bandwidth utilization out through your WAN. If you're using our NSG gateways, you can see not only how much bandwidth is being used, but what specific apps and which specific users are using that bandwidth. And we've got a number of other screens here that you can see as you drill in. This is showing us the connected devices on Wi-Fi, who's connected, and you can customize which columns you have there, so you can see which SSID they're connected to, which specific AP they're connected to, signal strength, MAC, client type, all sorts of other stuff, as well as visual graphs showing you utilization of different periods of time. Some additional network insights as to what's going on your wired network. Going in to manage your switches, as you can see there, you've got your ports visually represented. You can easily go through, select multiple ports. You can do some basic live testing, such as pings, power recycling devices, MAC tables, as well as bandwidth utilization charts over time. And everything we've showed you to date is free. So Nebula is free. There are no limits to the number of customers you can have. There are no limits to the number of networks you can have or the number of devices on those networks. 100% free to use. So Nebula is available on our security gateways, specifically the NSG series of gateways. It's available on our NSW switches and some other models we'll get to later, and on our access points. So when you're looking at stuff, you will see some products advertised as Nebula Flex. So what Nebula Flex does is that tells you that this device can be used the traditional standalone method of network management, or it can be used in the cloud, either way. So if you see Nebula Flex, it lets you know it can go either way. If you see Nebula Flex Pro, which right now is just on our access points, tells you two things. It can be used standalone, it can be managed by Nebula, or it can be managed via one of our physical controllers, whether it's a dedicated NXC or whether it's the built-in controller on our USG, ATP, UAG, etc. gateways. It also tells you that it includes 1 year of our professional pack, which we'll talk a little bit more in a few slides here of what that is. But there you go. So if you want to use Nebula mode when you're using a Nebula Flex device, it's super simple and easy to do. Log into Nebula, create your account. If you don't have one already, create an organization you want these devices to be assigned to, and then register the devices. The devices will automatically realize that you want to now manage them in the cloud, and within a few minutes they will reboot and come back up in Nebula management mode. If for some reason you decide you don't want to manage them in Nebula anymore, you simply unregister your device, so it's no longer part of any organization, and the device will automatically reboot back into traditional standalone mode. So now we'll start talking about the value-added services that we have. So we'll start by talking about Professional Pack. So Professional Pack is a paid or bundled service that comes with our devices that unlocks a lot more features for you that aren't part of the free version. And most of these features are focused on monitoring, reporting, things like that. So for the most part, you get all the same hardware features, you get all the same configuration. So some of the things you get is you get status alerts, email and app push notifications when devices go offline, and you can configure how often. All of our log information is stored in the cloud for a year, whereas with the free version, you only get a week worth of free cloud storage. You can still always use syslog to export if you want to store it externally. Gets you a number of different reports. Let's see, what else do we have here? We have a user audit log, so we'll keep a log for up to a year of every configuration change that's made and whose account made that change. So you can always go through and say, hey, wait a minute, why did we configure it this way? You can see who did the configuration so you know who to go ask. Or for troubleshooting, you can see, wait a minute, oh, we changed that 2 months before the problem showed up. That's probably not the issue. Give you the ability to export a lot of data, do more backups, some other fun stuff there for you, such as we give you an automatic network topology view, so we'll generate for you, a view of your network, which device, which APs are plugged into which switches, which are plugged into which gateway ports, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll generate that automatically for you with Nebula Professional Pack. We give you more granular bandwidth control on the switches than you would have without the Pro Pack. If you're doing IPTV, which if we're lucky is probably just one of you, we open up some advanced IGMP snooping configuration that you can do. We also generate a really cool report for you, letting you know which users are watching which channels and when. But more importantly, we'll let you know if we see things that are causing quality issues, such as dropped frames and things like that on your IPTV streams. And we'll even give you advice as to which settings need to be changed on your network to try to solve those issues. We added a wireless health report. So that'll let you monitor your connected Wi-Fi client devices and let you know the quality of their connections over time. Help you figure out people that are having issues with the network. So that's what it looks like there. You can see it's charted out when those user was green with a good solid connection, when it became sort of mediocre, when it might have gone bad, how many people are in that situation now, etc. We've added the ability here to create configuration templates, so you can use templates to automatically change configurations across multiple sites simultaneously, the ability to clone settings from sites or organizations, and to be able to externally back up and restore configurations. We've also added Facebook Wi-Fi as another option. So that's more for businesses. It's different than Facebook Login. It's similar but different. So with Facebook Wi-Fi, it's an actual program that Facebook offers that basically encourages users to like and share that they're checking into your business in order to get on to the free public Wi-Fi. So that's it for the Nebula Professional Pack. So again, these are extra things that you get if you subscribe to the Professional Pack. The Professional Pack is available either as an annual subscription or it's available as a one-time, lifetime, perpetual license. So we're flexible which way you go on that. Should Professional Pack expire, you just fall back to the free version of Nebula. You don't get locked out of your stuff like with some other brands. And for the most part, all the core features are all pretty much the same between the two. So the other value add we have is our security pack. This is for our NSG security gateways. So all of our NSG gateways come with 1 year of this out of the box. So the security services give you antivirus, content filtering, our ability to create rules and reports based on individual applications, IDP, as well as a number of different security-based reports. So application awareness allows us to generate reports where we can tell you which individual applications are doing things. We also give the ability there with application awareness. Maybe, there we go. Whoops, maybe I'm missing the slide I wanted here. To set up firewall rules based on individual applications, just using a drop-down. So you don't need to know which ports or which servers they're going to. You can just go in there and say, hey, I want to block Facebook Messenger, and you're done. Or, hey, I want to give bandwidth prioritization to Zoom, or whatever your preferred video conferencing app is. We give you reports here, understanding where the network utilization is going and who's using it. Antivirus reporting, letting you know what's been blocked, when it was blocked, which device it was targeting. So a quick summary here, Nebula itself with the zero-touch config and all the things I talked about at the first half of today's presentation, that's all free. Again, no limit to the number of devices or networks you can have. We have the professional pack, which is available as either an annual or a perpetual license, which gets you a lot more reports, more logs, more things like that. And then we've got our security pack, which gives you your UTM, your Unified Threat Management Services, such as antivirus, etc. So when it comes to Nebula, you need to buy one of our NSG security gateways to use the NSG security services. So you don't have to have an NSG gateway on your Nebula network. You can use Nebula independent of your gateway. You can use it just to manage your switches, just to manage your Wi-Fi, or however you'd like to mix and match it. As you can see there, all of our NSGs come with 1 year of ProPack and 1 year of the security service license bundled with them automatically out of the box. Switches that support Nebula, any of our NSW series switches, any of our GS1920V2 series, our XGS1930 series, and with a future update in a few months, hopefully, fingers crossed, the 1350 series switches will also be able to be Nebula managed. There's also one other model that can be Nebula managed. It's not on that chart, and I forget it now. It's XS30 something or other. And then when it comes to wireless access points, short version is everything just about, except for the NWA 5123, can be Nebula managed these days. The NAP series comes with 3 years of professional pack out of the box. Anything that's 5000 series or higher comes with 1 year of Nebula ProPack out of the box, and the 1100 and 1300 series don't include any ProPack out of the box. So if you'd like what you see here, you're interested in it, give it a shot. If you've already got some of the equipment I managed, you can easily switch those over to Nebula mode. If you don't have any equipment on hand, there's a live demo, nebula.zycel.com. You can log in from any web browser and check it out. We've got a couple different sites set up for you to play around with. Or you can reach out to your salesperson, Ivan, Sandy, Jacob, and they can probably hook you up with a 60-day demo kit, provided you've already joined and qualified for our partner program. So a lot of different ways to get your hands on Nebula and try it out and play with it. I think you'll find it is quite compelling, and again, free to use for most of you. So now we can open it up to questions. If anybody had any questions, now is the time to ask. Again, you send them in through Q&A. I don't think there's a way to do it through Facebook, so if you're one of the people joining us from Facebook, I think you're out of luck, because for some reason on this computer, the Facebook Live interface goes away. But otherwise, if you're joined us through Zoom, just go ahead and use Q&A and send me any questions you may have. While I stall here, it'll give people time to type in their questions, assuming there's some out there. Again, we're looking for your feedback, so you can email me directly, you can share it to your sales contact, but we need ideas. How can we make today's presentation better for you? Were there things you liked, or the things you didn't like? Let us know. But we also need your ideas for topics, for future trainings, webinars, things like that. So, let us know. Do you need help on configuring, content filtering? That might be something. Do you need help with some aspect of configuring and setting up Wi-Fi? Let us know, because we need to know what you find valuable. There's no point in us spending time putting together a slide deck that no one's interested in. Having said that, I have got a Wireless 101 webinar next week, so you should have got emails on that. If that's something that interests you, go ahead and sign up. So I'll talk a bit about, site surveys, how wireless behaves, some of the problems people run into, some best practices, what Wi-Fi 6 is, and why some of the stuff out there being marketed as Wi-Fi 6 is not actually Wi-Fi 6. Kind of like how AT&T's 5G isn't 5G. So please join that webinar. That, again, is next week. You can sign up for that. And I have gotten no Q&A questions, so I'm going to go ahead and close things down. If you're typing something up, just go ahead, highlight it, copy it, and go ahead and email it to me. My email is seanr@zycel.com. Thanks, guys.